action figures or comic books. Give him a look. Owner, my woman. You like action figures or comic books? Harambe YouTube, how you doing? This video is a little bit late today, but for a very good reason. I wanted to push this out as soon as possible, so I am recording this right up until my regular post time because I'm doing something that I haven't done on this channel for far too long, and that is an action figure unboxing. At this point in my collecting, I don't just buy everything. I don't just buy the latest hot thing because I have so many action figures. So now I don't buy something unless I see something that really catches my eye. And this Call of Duty Ghost action figure really caught my eye when I saw the picture of it. From the design, the detail, the accessories, it had me. I had to get my hands on this and see what it was about. I have never played Call of Duty. I don't know any of the storylines or anything, but I am familiar with the company. This is made by Jazwares, who makes the AEW wrestling action figures, and so I love their quality. I'll take a look at it, and I know what to look for with that little bit in advance. So let's get her open and take a look at what we have going on here. I love the packaging, by the way. I wish that they would do similar packaging for the All Elite Wrestling action figures. That way you could save it as opposed to it being wrecked right out the box. So that came out easy enough. Let's get it stood up here, see how the balance is right out of the box. Okay, the torso is very loose and the legs are very stiff, but we can do a little adjusting on that. And it comes with a lot of accessories here. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And I'm going to leave the extra hands in here because we've all seen the hands before. We know what they do. So let's get into it. The way I do these action figure unboxings is I talk about the appearance. And then I talk about the articulation. And then we go into accessories. So let's start with this appearance. First off, I really love the head. Have that skeleton mask thing going on with a headset to stay in communication, hands free, and we have this cape with a hoodie, and it's all soft goods, and so it feels very organic and natural. So I like that very much. Like I said, this pack here, I don't know what you would call it, but it looks like it has a space for the walkie-talkie accessory and for the extra magazines for the gun that it comes with, so that's very cool. And it looks like it's a army green uniform with the Union Jack. So apparently this is a British character. Tattoos on the left arm here, very detailed tattoo work. And then on the right forearm, it is clean. One thing I really like about the skin tone is how it's kind of rough and dusty. Gives it that little bit of weathered look, like he's been out in the desert for a while. We have the army green pants with knee pads here, subtle. We have toe articulation. So that's something we don't see in here, is that little toe articulation. A lot of details. As far as the appearance, I give the appearance an A++. So much going on here. Beautiful piece. So now we talked about the appearance, let's talk about the articulation, starting from head to toe. The head, it is very stiff. We have left and right, a little bit of front and back, and the neck has a little movement, none worth bragging about, and there is no rolling action on the head. And we go down to the shoulders. We have a butterfly cut here for extended horizontal back and forth movement. And it is a little bit stiff out of the box, but I encourage you not to force these pieces out of the box. A lot of people, they boil them. What I do is I have my laptop right here. I put it right next to the vent for about 30 or so minutes. It softens that plastic up enough to get these joints moving without breaking it and without damaging it from the heat. And then so we have the butterfly joints, and then we have the ball joint here on the shoulder, and then we go down to the arm. We have, looks like double jointed articulation, pinless, so you don't see the pins here, which is, I expected to see pins in the joint because that's how they do the AEW action figures, but these are pinless joints. And then the torso is obviously on a swivel, a very, very loose, almost, oh, here we go, it was just popped out a little bit. So that was user error. So the joint is actually pretty tight. And then we have not a lot of motion on the torso, but that's okay. Then we go down to the hip area. We have a ball joint on the leg. Like I said, it's a little bit stiff. And then do we have an upper thigh cut for in and out motion? We do have an upper thigh cut right here. And then we have the double jointed pinless knees. And we have back and forth on the feet, a little bit of side to side, which is to be expected with an action figure of this detail. And I mentioned before that we have the toe cut. So you can get a little movement here, still get them flat footed with the bent leg. So that's some good stuff going on there in the articulation. Outside of the stiffness, I think the articulation is very good. If the torso was a little bit more mobile, I think that would put it over the top, but I give it a B plus on articulation. And now let's talk about the accessories. We're not going to talk about the pack because this is connected. It does not remove, so this is part of the action figure, much like the original Roadblock classified vest that he had. So we come with, I'm not a gun expert. I think this is maybe an M16 or something. Let me know in the comments if you guys are gun aficionados. But I do know that these are not called clips, but magazines. And it has two of them. A very small piece here. Let me see. Here we go. What great detail. Let's see how well it fits in here. See if that's going to be something we have to worry about losing. Nope, it fits snug. It's right like a glove. And then we have carrying capacity on the vest for the other clip. Not sure why they give you two clips, but I'm not going to complain about an extra accessory. We have a walkie-talkie here, and we have a sidearm right here. Not sure what kind of gun that is, but these are some great accessories. The texture on them, I like the fact that in the rifle, we have multiple textures here and multiple colors, not just a flat black. And then this right here is a very detailed piece. I like the walkie-talkie accessory. That's not something that I've seen come with figures that I currently have in my collection. So that's going to be a little novel piece there. And let's see how it's going to fit in here. The hands are very, very tight coming out of the box, but that's okay. We'll get a little heat to them and get those loosened up so we can get the guns in there. Yeah, these hands are very, very, very tight coming out of the box. And then the other right hand that we have in here is a fist, so that's not going to be able to grab a gun, so we just have to put some heat on it here. And this left hand, does it move any better to hold the gun? It's a little bit easier to get that gun in. So let's switch out this left hand here so we can get a look at him with the gun in hand. So here we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, I think he looks cool right here, but this little accessory hood and cape, that goes on easy enough. I haven't seen this design before on an action figure, so this is another novel piece that I have in my collection. But this guy looks tough. I actually bought him when I was searching for some G.I. Joes to add to my collection. Now, let's see if I can find a G.I. Joe to compare him with. And we'll go with the action figure I mentioned earlier, the G.I. Joe Classified Roadblock. So we put them side to side. They are very comparable in scale as far as height goes. And even as far as, I mean, you could put these guys next, side to side or in opposition of each other in a, for a picture. And they're going to look fantastic together. There's not going to be any inconsistency as far as size goes. Maybe as far as detail goes, this guy has a lot more detail than the G.I. Joes. But these are based on a cartoon. These are based on a video game property that probably is a little bit more photorealistic and not as kid-friendly. So here you might get a couple of more brighter colors and things that make it pop out a little bit. This is, it seems very practical. So that's my thoughts on this right here. Call of Duty, I got this off of Amazon for like 18 bucks. You cannot beat that price point. And what is this line called? Yeah, it's just the Call of Duty line. And I've actually seen other pieces from this line. I actually saw a Call of Duty Spawn that I might pick up. But that looked interesting. Like I said, I love the box. This right here is a great figure. If you can find it, I would say this is even worth a $30 price point. I would have happily paid 10 more bucks for something of this quality. This is not your standard soldier that you get off the rack for 15 bucks. So that's my thoughts. Let me guys know what you think of this line. If you guys have gotten into the Call of Duty line, if you own any of the action figures, or you're hoping to get some, be sure to check this out. I got mine on Amazon. And let me know what other toy lines are real hip nowadays that you think I might be into. Give me some suggestions down in the comments. Until then, I'll see you next time. Keep buying that plastic. You know I'm going to. I'm out.